Good morning students, how are you? Welcome to YouTube channel of Proton, and we are studying part 13 of our chapter Human Digestive System. And in last video we have studied about the some basics related to small intestine, and as I said that in next video we are studying about the parts of small intestine. So students, today we are going to study about the parts of small intestine. So please listen carefully. This is very important part of our gastrointestinal tract. So let's start. So basically a small intestine is divided into three parts. Basically small intestine is divided, it have three parts. Please students, as I know that first part is known as duodenum. First part is known as duodenum. Sometimes it is called duodenum. Clear students? Second part is known as jejunum, and third part is known as ileum. So one by one we have to we are studying in these parts what is the specialty of these parts and what is the basics related to these parts. So let's start. First part is duodenum. So duodenum is the 25 centimeter long part of small intestine. You can see also in diagram, students, that is esophagus, and in esophagus the next organs in is stomach, and stomach here this is the stomach, and the next organ is duodenum, and duodenum is the first part of large intestine. You can see here that this is the part of large intestine, small intestine, sorry, and this is duodenum, and duodenum is 25 centimeter long. It is only 25 centimeter long part only. This region you can see here, this C-shaped region, or in other words we can say this is U-shaped region, is called as duodenum. Clear students? And it is basically C or U-shaped part of SI. You have already heard about this, and that it is if I talk about the shape of the duodenum, it is C-shaped, or sometimes it is called means some books have written U-shaped. So you can see here it is a C-shaped. If I talk about the structure of duodenum, it is a C-shaped structure. It is a C-shaped part of small intestine. So it is very much known that it is basically C or U-shaped in structure. Now, okay, coming to next point, that this is the first part of small intestine which is connected with the stomach. This is the simple point for you, that you can see here also there is a stomach here, and after stomach you can see here that this is the duodenum. So we can say this is the first part of small intestine. This is a small intestine. So this is the first part of small intestine, and comes after the stomach part. Okay, so it is also connected with one-sided from stomach, one-sided from stomach, and another sided it is connected with jejunum, which is the second part of small intestine. So this is very much known about by you, that the connection of this part. Clear? Come to the next point. This is the most smallest part of small intestine. As you see here that this part is the limitations of this part is here to here only, and the limitations of next part is here to here. Means this is how much broader, it is more broader as comparison to this part, and last part is most broader as comparison to both parts of small intestine. So most smallest part is duodenum. You can see here. So this is the shortest, this is the most smallest part of small intestine. It is very much clear. Next, come to the next point. Duodenum receives the secretions which comes from pancreas and liver. Students, in our further videos we will study that that there are some special juice are produced by liver, some special juices are produced by pancreas, and both the juices are combinedly secreted into our small intestine. So I mean to say here that duodenum receives the secretions which comes from pancreas and liver. It is the primary function of our duodenum. Clear? What is the primary function? It receives the secretions comes from liver, and it is receives the secretions which are comes from pancreas. So I mean to say that there is a there are both glands. If I talk about that, there is a pancreas found here. This is roughly diagram, not go to the clarity of this diagram. And here we talk here, there is a bilobed structure is liver present here. Clear students? This is liver and this is pancreas. Clear students? So pancreas secretes pancreatic juices. Please must know that pancreas secrete pancreatic juices and liver also secrete special types of juice which is called bile juice. We will study about these types of juices and structure of liver, structure of pancreas in our further video, but basically this is related to duodenum. So I tell you about something short in about liver and pancreas. So from there, from pancreas, a pancreatic juices are get secreted, and from liver bile juice get secreted, and duodenum is the part which receive the both secretions. You must know students that duodenum is the part of small intestine get received both types of secretions. I am talking about the both type of secretion is bile juice and pancreatic juices. Pancreatic juices comes from pancreas and bile juices which is comes from liver. So both types of our juices are received by our duodenum. Clear students? So you must know that duodenum receives the secretions which comes from pancreas and liver. Both types of our juices received by duodenum. Very simple. And in next, both types of secretions, bile juice and pancreas, as I know, pancreatic juice are carried by a common duct named hepatopancreatic duct which opens into duodenum. Students, it is very important duct for competitive exams. Sometimes it is asked in competitive exams as well as your board examinations. So please keep attention and listen carefully that the bile juice and pancreatic juices are not secreted directly in duodenum with their separate ducts. These are both the secretions are secreted by a common duct. You must know that liver, a duct comes from liver that is known as hepatic duct. I write here the liver, the duct which is comes from liver, that duct is known as hepatic duct. Clear students? And the duct which comes from pancreas, that is known as pancreatic duct. Pancreatic duct. Clear students? So pancreatic duct and hepatic duct, both ducts are getting joined to each other. Both ducts, listen carefully, both the ducts, pancreatic duct and hepatic duct, joins to each other before entering the duodenum. What I say, student, that before entering duodenum means before they secrete their secretions into duodenum, they get joints to each other. They get jointed to each other, and after joining, they are known as a common duct. Is called hepatopancreatic duct. Students, listen carefully. The secretions which comes from liver and pancreas. The secretion which comes from liver and pancreas are not secreted in duodenum with their separate ducts. Before entering duodenum, both the ducts, I am talking about hepatic duct and I am talking about the pancreatic duct. Both the ducts joins to each other. Both the ducts get joined to each other, and then it is called hepatopancreatic duct. And after joining to each other, both the ducts after getting joined to each other, they are known as hepatopancreatic duct, and then they enters into the duodenum and comes the secretions of combinedly which comes from liver and which comes from pancreas. So I mean to say that I have written here that both types of secretions, bile juice and pancreatic juices, are carried by a common duct, not separate ducts. These are carried by a common duct named hepatopancreatic duct, which opens into duodenum. Hepatopancreatic duct opens into duodenum. I mean to say that not hepatic duct opens into duodenum directly, and not pancreatic ducts opens into duodenum directly. Both joins to each other before entering the duodenum. Clear? And after joining, they are known as hepatopancreatic duct, and hepatopancreatic duct opens into duodenum. Simple, students. And the opening of hepatopancreatic duct in the duodenum is guarded by a sphincter of Oddi. It is very important portions and very important point, and in many exams many times it was asked. So students, listen carefully that when both the ducts joins to duodenum, and in the opening of hepatopancreatic duct in duodenum, I mean to say when they joins to duodenum, I mean to say that when hepatopancreatic duct enters into duodenum, the opening of this duct is guarded, means regulated by a valve which is known as sphincter of Oddi. Clear, students? There is a special name provided by a scientist, and this special name is known as sphincter of Oddi. It regulates the entry of both the juices. How much quantity of both juices are come into the duodenum? It is guarded by sphincter of Oddi. Clear, students? So must remember always which valve is present on the opening of hepatopancreatic duct at the time of entry into duodenum. So name of the duct is known as sphincter of Oddi. Clear, students? Come to the next point. Wall of duodenum contains intestinal glands and special Brunner's gland which produce alkaline mucus. Before discussing about this topic, I am talking about one more important thing, that sphincter of Oddi. Sphincter of Oddi also regulates the entry of both types of juices from liver to duodenum and pancreas to duodenum, but it prevents the backflow it prevents the moving of these both types of juices from duodenum to liver and duodenum to pancreas. I mean to say it allows, means sphincter of Oddi allows the moving of pancreatic juices and bile juices from hepatopancreatic duct to duodenum, but it prevents the backflow of these kinds of juices from duodenum to hepatopancreatic duct. So it is another important role of this sphincter of Oddi. I have already discussed, I have already tell you that the valve have special functions. It allows one-sided entry, but it prevents the backside entry of any kind of material. Clear, students? So sphincter of Oddi also play this role here. Clear, students? Come to the next point. Wall of duodenum contains intestinal glands and special Brunner's gland which produce alkaline mucus. This is also important point. Wall of duodenum. I am talking about the wall of duodenum. You know very well. It is epithelial walls. Clear, students? Excuse me, students. Okay, students. So I am talking about that the wall of duodenum contains intestinal glands and special Brunner's gland which produces alkaline mucus. So students, you must remember that wall of duodenum contains wall of duodenum is having some intestinal glands. When we will study about the digestion in intestines, then we will study about the intestinal glands and secretions which comes from intestinal glands. So you must know here only that wall of duodenum contains some intestinal glands. Clear, students? And these glands secrete some intestinal juices, and intestinal juices having some important enzymes which are most important for purpose of absorption and digestion. Clear, students? And special Brunner's glands which produce alkaline mucus. And so I am talking about wall of duodenum contains both types of glands. First one is intestinal gland and some special glands which are known as Brunner's glands. Clear, students? Brunner's is the name of the scientist which discovered these types of glands. So on the name of Brunner's, these are known as Brunner's glands. So which produce alkaline mucus. Clear, students? Means Brunner's glands produce alkaline mucus. Clear? Which creates the environment alkaline, means basic environment. Clear? And these types of intestinal glands produce some special types of juices which are helping in digestion and absorption of food. Clear, students? So this is all about the duodenum. Clear, students? Come to the next part of our small intestine, which is known as jejunum. What is jejunum? It is the middle part of the small intestine, which is 2.5 centimeter long. 2.5 centimeter long in length. If I talk about the length of jejunum, so jejunum having length of 2.5 meter. Clear, students? And this is the middle part of our small intestine, because and in other words we can say this is the connecting part of small intestine which connects duodenum with ileum. It is connects duodenum with ileum. So it is the if I talk about the length, it is 25 centimeter in 2.5 meter in length. Clear, students? And it is more coiled part as comparison to duodenum. If we get compared to duodenum and jejunum as the point of convolutions, point of how much convolutions are found here, so jejunum have more numbers of convolutions. It means I mean to say it is more coiled. It is more coiled as comparison to duodenum. Duodenum is not so much coiled. It is the shortest part of our small intestine, but jejunum is the most coiled, more coiled as comparison to duodenum. In further lecture we will study that ileum is most coiled part of our small intestine. So I mean to say that jejunum have coiled but not more as comparison to ileum, and has more as comparison to duodenum. So students, I mean to say that it is more coiled part as comparison to duodenum in small intestine. Come to the next point. In this part of small intestine, digested food is absorbed through specific cells. What is the role of jejunum? In this part of small intestine, food is absorbed through special cells. There are some special cells are found on the wall of jejunum, and these special cells plays very important role to absorbing the food after getting digested. So these cells help to absorptions of food. So it plays very important role to absorption of food. I have already discussed that most of digestion and most of absorption take place in small intestine. Means approx we can say 99% of absorption and digestion get take place in small intestine. So in jejunum there are multiple convolutions, multiple coils part here present here. So this is the part of duodenum, and jejunum plays very important role to digestion and absorption of food. Come to the next point. It is more vascular part of SI, means it is containing more blood supply, it is containing more blood capillaries, so it have more supplies of food. Please friends, come to the next point of our small intestine, which is known as ileum. Ileum, it is the most longest part of our small intestine, having the length of 3.5 meter. Please friends, so I mean to say that ileum have the length of ileum having maximum length in small intestine. So it is the 3.5 meter in length. So it is the most longest part of our small intestine. Come to the second point. It is less thinner as and less vascular as jejunum. Means there is low blood supply, lower blood supply take place in this portion ileum as comparison to jejunum. And I write here that it is less thinner. It is less thinner. It is less thinner. Less thinner means jejunum is most thinner, most thicker, as comparison to jejunum it is less thicker. In short we can say it is less thinner and less thicker of as comparison to jejunum. And less vascular as jejunum means there is low blood supply and it is very less. It is, and jejunum is very rich in blood supply, and this is very less in blood supply. Clear friends? Now ileum opens into cecum. You can see here that this is ileum. This is the longest part of our small intestine, known as ileum, and ileum is one-sided tuck attached with jejunum, and in another side it opens into the cecum, which is the first part of our large intestine. So I mean to say ileum opens into cecum, first part of large intestine. You can see here through ileocecal wall. Clear students, it is very important point. And you can see on the junction of cecum and ileum, on the junction of cecum and ileum a wall is present which is known as ileocecal wall, or in another word we can say ileocecal sphincter. It have the same functions. Partially digested food comes here, and partially digested food, I mean to say complete digested food comes here, and entry of complete digested food is made easier by this ileocecal wall. Means ileocecal walls allow this complete digested food to enter into cecum portion of our large intestine, but it prevents the backflow of moving of food from cecum region to ileum region. So this is play a very important role. And in last we can see here that it is the most coiled part of small intestine. It is another specialty of ileum that it is less coiled, and it is very less coiled part of duodenum is the very less coiled part of small intestine. Jejunum is more coiled part of small intestine, and ileum is the most coiled part of our small intestine. So students, you very much know, it is very much clear for you. So it is, I think, all about our parts of our small intestine. Nothing is left, I think. So please listen carefully and read carefully, or in our next video we will study about the large intestine and their parts. So thanks a lot for watching me. You can take a screenshot for prepare your notes. Thank you students.